Good evening, good afternoon, good people. To those gathered here in this room, which is sort of holding the space for the, at San Francisco State University, for the more than 70-plus-year-old Poetry Center. And this Poetry Center was started with funds, the sort of repurposed funds, from an honorarium given to a poet, W.H. Auden, who gave it back to the people who gave to him and said, give it to the next writer and invite the next writer. And so it was the beginning of the Poetry Center's reading series, which passed through the English department, was its own research institution, and is now a part of the creative writing program again, and has moved in different ways. I'm here. My name is Tonya Foster and Andrew Duran. We are, whom you can't see because he's over there. We are co-directors of the Poetry Center and are really excited here to have with us Tyehimba Jess, reading as part of the, who's an amazing poet, and he's reading as part of a series that is housed in the Poetry Center, and it's called Undiscipling the Fields. And the series was begun in the fall of 2022 as an unruly exploration of the ways that practice and expertise are developed and encouraged through interest, through study, and accident. And of the ways that creativity motivates, instigates investigations of the possible. The series is also meant to foreground friendship and community in making, because art doesn't happen without community. I think of Bell Hooks' warning that we have to beware of the extent to which liberal individualism has actually been an assault on community, when the genuine staff of life is our interdependency, is our capacity to feel both with and for ourselves and other people. Jess is here. I call him alternately Tyehimba, Jess, because I've known him a long time. He's here because he's a wonderful poet, first, but because of that friendship where I remember deciding at one point, I said, we're going to know each other as old people. And that there are very few people I see that with respect to. I saw that. And I'm from New Orleans, so sometimes that sight asserts itself. So Tyehimba will read, and then we'll talk a little bit about poetry and making. And welcome, Tyehimba Jess.
Well, thank you for bringing me here. Tonya, we go way back.
Yeah, we do.
Coming on a quarter century soon.
Yeah.
I think.
Yes, we were baby poets in Ghana and in New York.
No doubt. And I really appreciate being here at San Francisco State University. I think this is the second time I've been here. I think it was like at least 20 years ago, so maybe 18 years ago I was here. And
do you need to project?
Do I need the what? The projector?
On the screen.
In a
Not
minute,
yet.
I will.
Okay.
In a minute, I will. I'm just going to start, because we're talking about the disciplined and the undisciplined, and the space in between.
Always.
Always. So I'd like to start this poetry reading like this. Mercy. The war speaks at night with its lips of shredded children, with its brow of plastique and its fighter jet breath. And then it speaks at daybreak with the soft slur of money, unfolding leaf upon leaf. It speaks between the news programs in the music of commercials, then sings in the voices of a national anthem. It has a dirty coin jingle in its step. It has a hand of many lost hands, a palm of missing fingers, the stump of an arm that it lost reaching up to heaven, a foot that digs a trench for its dead. The war staggers forward, compelled, inexorable, ticking. It looks to me with its one eye of napalm and one eye of ice, with its hair of fire and its nuclear heart. And yes, 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 it is so human and so pitiful as it stands there, waiting for my hand. It wants to know my answer. It wants to know how I intend to show it out of its misery. And I only want it to teach me how to kill. It's good to be here in the reprieve of disaster or the seeming reprieve of disaster. We don't know what is really happening at this precipitous time. But I do know that we are in a time of grave national and global danger as we gather here tonight in the name of poetry at San Francisco State University. At the beginning of the second quarter of the 21st century, at the definitive decline of the American empire, as we teeter and totter in the face of nuclear disaster. So I'm going to share a few poems about that. A few words. This is one I'd like to share. How y'all doing today? Good. Y'all good? Music, yes. Okay, that's good to hear. I have some. Going to change a little bit of course, and I'm going to call some attention to talking about interdisciplinary or against the discipline. And I want to bring up a sister who, way back in the day, I did not know about this person who had sculpted her way into American history. And let me find her picture right here. This is a poem for Edmonia Lewis, who's included in Olio. Edmonia Lewis made this sculpture right here, so I'm going to bring up on the screen, called Forever Free. Edmonia Lewis was born in 1849, and she became a sculptor. Is it there? Can you see? Okay.
It is.
And she was famous for her sculpture, but she was the highest paid African American artist of her time. At the end of the 19th century, she had to leave the United States in order to practice her craft. She went to Rome right after the Civil War. This is one of her sculptures, Forever Free. I wrote a suite of poems that were in the voices of some of the sculptures that she produced. This one is Forever Free. What a thing it is to be delivered from beneath the dirt, from hardship's rubble, from underneath the feet of the world, to raise up on one's own pedestal and become bondage's living tombstone. Forever Free. I bring this up because, a few weeks ago, I went to they just had the first exhibition of her collected works at the Peabody Essex Museum in Salem. So after 100 years, they have finally assembled her work, her craft together under one roof. And it is really just an amazing experience to see them all together. This next one is, so she's undergoing a kind of a renaissance a little bit over 100 years after her death. This one is Hagar in the Wilderness. Hagar in the Wilderness, from the perspective of the sculpture. Carved marble, Edmonia Lewis, 1875. My God is the living God, God of the impertinent exile, an outcast who carved me into an outcast, carved by sheer and stony will to wander the desert in search of deliverance, the way a mother hunts for her wayward child. God of each eye fixed to heaven, God of the fallen water jug,
of all the hope a vessel holds before spilling to barren sand. God of flesh hewn from earth and hammered beneath a will immaculate with the power to bear life from the lifeless, like a well in a wasteland. I'm made in the image of a God that knows flight, but stays me rock still to tell a story ancient as slavery, old as the first time hands clasped together for mercy and parted to find only their own salty blessing of sweat. I have been touched by my God in my creation. I've known her caress of anointing callous across my face. I know the lyric of her pulse across these lips, and yes, I've kissed the fingertips of my dark and mortal God. She has shown me the truth behind each chiseled blow that's carved me into this life. The weight any woman might bear to stretch her mouth toward her one true God, her own beaten marble song. Monia Lewis. Thank you. I think I would like to, I'm going to read a few, at least one more that is from my last book. And, oh wait, that's not it. That's not what I'm going to read yet.
You did go.
Gotta wait for that one. And, but this one is, I just did a great class with Tonya in her class.
They were great.
And it was, they had really captivating students with great questions.
They did.
Very interesting crew, and they were doing contrapuntal poems.
Mm-hmm.
And so a contrapuntal poem is a poem in which you have one line of dialogue on one side and another line of dialogue on the other side, and when read together, they form a third kind of dialogue. And so there's point counterpoint, so to speak. And there's a few contrapuntal poems in my last book, Olio, and I think I would like to just read through one of them to kind of show you how one of them works. Let me see here. Here it is.
The word, or
There you go.
Yeah.
This one is. Can y'all read that in the back? No. Okay, good, great. Well, this is a conversation between two comedians, Burt Williams and George Walker. Burt Williams and George Walker were comedians. They had the urge to make people laugh, but the problem set for them was that they were born black around 1875, each of them. And it was right after the Civil War. The only vehicle for them to display their work was the minstrel show. And this was, as a result, they became minstrels, full-blown minstrels with blackface, the whole 9 yards. They traveled around the world, and they were very famous for their work. They were known as some best paid entertainers of their time. As a matter of fact, they were known to make their audience not just laugh, but to cry. So they were in the comedic sphere, but they were also trying to create three-dimensional characters out of a two-dimensional frame. And this is what this poem is about. What we have here is two forms of Indo-Arabic form called a ghazal, G-H-A-Z-A-L. And in a ghazal, there's the rule is basically a repetition of a phrase or a word every other line, okay? And a kind of a rigidity or paying attention to the amount of syllables in
in each line, that they're somewhat uniform. And in this case, you have, on one side, you have nobody, 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 nobody. Burt Williams' side. That later on became a humongous hit. It was his song of his own composition. And if you go on your YouTube, you can find all kinds of people singing it, from Johnny Cash all the way through, Nina Simone, et cetera, et cetera. It became a huge jazz hit. Sang it every time he went on stage. On the other side, you have Burt Williams singing using the word face. And of course, face, black face, et cetera. Well, this is how they might sound if they were together. And if you can follow along with the cursor, here we go.
Sing like me, Jonah in the charcoal hold of the whale, doing justice to my Juba jig. See how I dance? Just might be playing you for a fool. You see, this face got them laughing loud like me. You think they mock my face? Might be saying, look at that handsome man. Nobody wondering about Dark's pathos. Believe the human being buried neath my ash. Don't claim that nobody in the crowd all gut bent with laughter. They know that they will be baptized clean. I want to make it so. Each face teared up in titters, then torn down sad. A soiled soul remembering my tale. Not hopeless, but lonely. One birth to sing fresh out of pain. I sing like nobody, birds fresh out of pain. I sing like nobody, atop a dancing darkness, shining hard. No, I'm not getting blistered with spotlight. That's my mask, not my face, making folk double take what they see. I'm the straight man, making folk double take what they see. I'm the straight man, bit enough to snicker at self, or in white folks' faces, crooning while coon songs paint my strife. They claim nobody crooning while coon songs paint my strife. They claim nobody yearning for tragic Negro to uplift them to buck, tickled with slapstick blackness. I'll color each white face red with laughter when I crack wise. That's how I get them red with laughter when I crack wise. That's how I get them all grinned up. I stay sharp, or I can't get nobody clowning with minds freed up. They see me and soon they get living neath Quark's costume. My crowds got to face this face, spitting back high-class grace from all the bile been swallowed when we've sophisticated Sambo's lot. We're that face rising through blackface. Some claim how we ain't nobody changing the game a bit. We've made ourselves somebody's pushing past Zip Coon. We'll make theater about face, pushing past Zip Coon. We'll make theater about face, making theater about us. Plays of paradox, slowly erasing darky to dawn a human face. Working with a truth that smothers Jim Crow's stench. We are working with a truth that smothers Jim Crow's stench. We are free. We wake up to mirrors full of slick black faces, reflecting on how every live soul holds a dream. We're wise to the dark's risks. I'll shine the crowd. I'll have each face sure of the price. What our act's worth. Bet you nobody dead set to swagger into undeferred dream. Look, we're dead set to swagger into undeferred dream. Look, we're free. We wake up to mirrors full of slick black faces doing the work we're born to do. See, we want to be working with a truth that smothers Jim Crow's stench. We are slowly erasing darky to dawn a human face, telling real human comedies. That's us. Nobody closing the curtain on coon shows. That is our mission, making the theater about us. Plays of paradox, pushing past Zip Coon. We'll make theater about face, mining joy out of hurt. That's better than nobody being sent here to ponder on pride. But we've sweat coal rising through blackface. Some claim how we ain't nobody trying to rise up the race. We're two real coons, proud of spitting back high-class grace from all the bile been swallowed living neath Cork's costume. My crowds got to face this face themselves. Most crowds know nothing about nobody living neath Cork's costume. My crowds got to face this face beyond the skin. Here in my show, they are me. They'll be clowning with minds freed up. They see me and soon they get rolling in owls each time. Have you seen their faces red with laughter when I crack wise? That's how I get them teary when I mime a losing card game. I want them filled with black magic. Don't tell me there ain't nobody gone corrupt with comedy. That's the ticket I sell. Bent enough to snicker at self, or in white folks' faces, crooning while coon songs paint my strife. They claim nobody struggling not to fade away. That's the role that I play, struggling not to fade away. That's the role that I play, getting blistered with spotlight. That's my mask, not my face atop a dancing darkness, shining hard. No, I'm not full of bulging eyes, cakewalking along to ragtime, birthed to sing fresh out of pain. I sing like nobody, teared up in titters, then torn down sad. A soiled soul will be baptized clean. I want to make it so, each face holding secret smiles for another man's plight. A shame being buried neath my ash. Don't claim that nobody being buried neath my ash. Don't claim that nobody getting touched from inside out. Every wide-eyed face being swept up in my diamond stud strut. Bless those that can't help but see themselves beneath my blacked up face. Got them laughing loud like me. You think they mock my face? Born to riddle all about race. A sure bet nobody got them laughing loud like me. You think they mock my face? Got them laughing loud like me. You think they mock my face? Got them laughing loud like me. You think they mock my face? Just might be playing you for a fool. You see, this face be smiling till the crowd starts to cry. This nobody sing like me. Jonah in the charcoal hold of the whale, doing justice to my juba jig. See how I dance? Doing justice to my juba jig. See how I dance.
Do you mind? Whose book is this? Mind if I use it as an example?
Oh, please.
Great, thank you. Because this is the poem in the book. Let me find it right quick. Here we go. And on the other side, actually on the other side of this poem, you'll find the rules for a minstrel show taken from an actual source. But as you can see now, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to demonstrate how the fact that this poem is meant to tear out of the book. It's perforated at the bottom. And as you can see, what we have here is a two-dimensional surface, right? XY axis. But when you join the two sides together, as is demonstrated, you now have basically a, what do we call that?
Cylinder.
A cylinder. Right, so now we've gone from a two-dimensional to a three-dimensional surface. If we do that and we also join the top and the bottom, we also have a cylinder, right? And theoretically, we can do both of those things at the same time if we fold along the caesura of the poem as such. Do a little light paper engineering. We now have a torus, right? That is basically what some of you have for breakfast today, a bagel or a donut. You can read around and around, backwards and forwards, inside and outside, indefinitely, right? And furthermore, if you take one side and give it a half twist, you now have a Mobius strip, right? Which is a paradox. Mm-hmm. Which is the exact kind of paradox that our friends faced as they went and tried to take a two-dimensional platform and create three-dimensional characters, which they were successful in doing. There you go. Burt Walker.
Nice.
Burt
That's
Williams
not a
and George
library
Walker.
book, is it?
Okay. So I got time for me. How much time I got?
You got time.
I
You're
got time?
good. Yeah.
How we doing? Okay. Okay, very good. I want to take that contrapuntal form, and I would like to show you where it is right now. And I'm going to show you a couple of examples of what I'm trying to do with them. But I did it somewhat previously, but I'm working with found poems and or found examples of the poetics of the state. And in this case, I'm going to use the poetics of the state as recorded by the International Criminal Court, who used some of these statements of Israeli government officials in their finding that designated a genocide in Gaza being committed by the Israeli government. So I wanted to use the space of power and trade it breath for breath and create a space of resistance on the page. So what that looks like is this. Let's see here. Find the right one. Start with here we go. We have a quote from Netanyahu, who says, "We are," can you read that? "We are the people of the light. They are the people of darkness. We shall realize the prophecy of Isaiah." Creating a kind of imaginary answer to him. On one side, we have Netanyahu's statement. On the other side, we have an imaginary response. "Unbeaten," says the Intifada response. "We won't be shadowed. Settlers who seek out to kill us, they'll one day witness faith rising like us from ash." When read together, we are the unbeaten, people of the light. We won't be shadowed. They are settlers, the people who seek out of darkness to kill us. We shall realize they'll one day witness the prophecy of Isaiah, faith rising like us from ash. Another one. Thank you. This is Moshe Feiglin. If the goal of this operation is not destruction, deportation, and settlement, we have done nothing. In the end, the whole country will be Be'eri. Fighting against freedom. Is it not futile? We resist. Our hearts resist. Each tall spine resists. All resist. Tears, blood, all pains of our birthright. Our children set free from terror. If the goal of fighting against this operation is not freedom, is it not futile? Destruction, we resist. Occupation, our hearts resist. Deportation and each tall spine resists. Settlement, all resists. We have done, tears, blood, all, nothing. In the end, the pains of our birthright, our whole country will be children set free from Be'eri. Terror.
Yav Kish. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name entirely correctly. Those are animals. They have no right to exist. I am not debating the way it will happen, but they need to be exterminated. The wild settlers seizing our land to thrive on. How our self-defense grinds forward. Lives will be lost. Know this, we won't be exterminated. Those are the wild animals, settlers. They have no right seizing our land to exist, to thrive on. I am not debating how our self-defense grinds the way forward. It will happen. Lives will be lost. But they need to know this. We won't be exterminated. Thank you. And how about what? Two more?
How about two more?
Two more?
Yeah,
Okay.
3 more.
Okay, we can do that. I'm gonna shift a little bit out of this. But that is where the contrapuntal poem has led me at this point. I want to take it in a little bit of a different direction, and going to read. Sorry, I'm not as adept as I usually am, because let's see here.
Don't worry, I'm never adept at this.
This poem is, well, I don't know. I want to say that this is a poetry reading of peace and peaceful resistance. And I also want to say that this poem is in response to state efforts to quell peaceful resistance, particularly for the states that have passed legislation or executive orders blacklisting and restricting the right to boycott Israel as of May 2025, of which there are about 35 states. This is called a state-sanctioned poem to boycott Israel. This body of letters, stitched in breath and darkness, here speaks to you without a tongue, to be shredded out of its mouth. This poem reaches out to the nation without arms, to be blown off into splintered bone, without skull to smash, without a child's crushed face to be lost in rubble. This poem, without skin and therefore unburnt. This poem, with only this legible, lettered, lingual specter of scrawl and breath, and therefore unbled, untortured, unshackled. This poem that feeds on eye and ear and therefore cannot be starved. This poem, an idea older than sit-down strikes, that remembers Montgomery and empty buses, that recalls singers that would not sing for apartheid's Sun City. This poem that wants no part of a killing economy for any cause or kin. This poem will not make purchase for the profit of the shrapnel of the GPS-guided missile. This poem will not buy into the ballistics of the boat action sniper rifle. This poem will not invest in the Uzi or amortize the agony of airstrikes on apartment buildings. This poem will not assign assets to aggrandize ethnic cleansing. This poem divests itself from the decapitation of infants and amputations of shattered limbs. This poem feels helpless against the legislated powers of war and seeks a peaceful way out, even as its inky would-be blood boils between ruthless rage and desperation. This poem wants no part of massacre and spreads its message of mutiny in a script universally understood by those who monetize mortared refugee tents and medical centers. This censored oath to boycott genocide's goods and services, may it run forward with no bones to break beneath bulldozers. May it seek refuge with no eyes to blind in the flash of a bomb. May it seek to touch with no shielding fingers to be flayed against the oncoming fire. One last one. This one's gonna come out in the New Yorker soon. It should be next week, I think. But this one is for, I started writing about all these blues cats I've been listening to for decades. And one of them is a guy named Hound Dog Taylor. I don't know if y'all are hip to Hound Dog Taylor, but anyway, you're gonna be. Theodore Roosevelt Taylor, April 12, 1915 to December 17, 1975. It's my last one. Okay. Hound Dog once confessed, I can't play shit, but I sure make it sound good. Others just said he played the hell out that guitar. Yes, it's true. The hell was played out of his guitar on the daily, along with 500 miles of barbed wire, wild wind whistle, a murder of crow calls, 20 pounds of brass knuckle jangles, and 40 acres of midnight cricket song. When he dragged the holler of his humbucker through wire and magnified coil, folks swore they'd heard the muffled motor rumbles of 7 funeral cars, the spinning chambers of 11 44s, and the mother's murmured up prayers echoed off plaster cast praying hands. In short, he slid metal on string till the devil got tickled and laughed up the blues. Born a polydactyl, his 12 fingers flayed the 6th string till one night he freed himself of his right hand's 6th nub. Sawed it off drunk on something loaded with more proof than sense. Each boogie he played held a secret line dance for the sacrificial digit, its spirit hovering up in the stratosphere somewhere with its howl. In a distant forest, the monument to his reckless fretwork rustles in the treetops and hums with beehives like the watts in the worn, weary amp, burning, crackling for release.
All right, Tyehimba, good shoes, Jess. Wow.
Well, it's a real honor to be here with you, Dr. Foster. We've known each other so long.
I know.
No,
Okay, I'll let you, but you know.
It's affectionate, and also with such deep respect. Y'all are very lucky to have the renowned New York Tonya Foster over here on the East Coast.
I'm all about New Orleans, though.
That's
Right?
true.
Although
You bring
New
it
York,
everywhere.
right?
You bring it everywhere.
Wow.
That's great.
Well, I'm really glad to have you here, and oh yeah. Does that work? Okay. So many things. One, I loved hearing you play. I haven't heard you play in a long time. You know, so that's
Thank you.
nice. I also love the velvet jacket.
Thank
I'm
you.
like feeling the whole like.
Well, I
here we
love
go.
that. I love the
polka
pattern
dots
on that dress.
I
like
know
it.
it's kind of
That's
crazy.
nice. I like it. It's a little. It's like a kind of polka dot.
It's very polka dotty.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
but then it's like one of those things in the cartoons. Those,
There you go.
Pac-Man almost.
There you go. Right.
There's so many things that sort of came up in the reading, and one of the things, not just the reading, but we've sort of had these conversations for a long time. And I think about that class yesterday was amazing. I mean, the people gathered had so many wonderful questions and such respect for the work. And I think my question for you is actually a question about love. And it's funny that in the last poem, you write about how he's making this work, and there's the sacrificial digit is always there, and there's some kind of homage to it. And so much of your work, in some ways, is reflecting on the sacrificial digits, the sacrificial people, right?
Yeah.
And that it's, I guess, I can go on, so I'll boil it down to one question. How do we traffic and contend with the dead and disappeared?
That's interesting, because when I think about Hound Dog Taylor sawing off his 12th digit, I think it's interesting. I mean, I guess in that poem, I wanted to have a kind of remembrance for it, despite the fact that he had sawed it off. And I guess I hadn't thought about that metaphor, but it's probably somewhere in my consciousness, like of feeling like we need to become something else. Other than, but not really being able to spiritually release the things that we've sacrificed to become the things that we are. I get there's a sense of ugliness in that 12th missing finger. But it was the thing that made him what he was at the same time. He wouldn't. I mean, who knows what he would have been? And so I guess in that way it is like there is the line dance, and I was thinking about New Orleans, when I was thinking about the line dance, I was thinking about, that kind of putting to rest, but also, the kind of joyousness at the same time.
The dirge to the grave.
Right.
The joy back.
Right. I was thinking about that in its connection to the blues. I mean, that is the blues right there. It's like, so I was thinking about all of that and trying to
like somehow surmise it in that one action. Yeah, but that you know, yeah, bringing it back to love. I think I'm thinking that it's about. Like when he says, you know, I can't play shit, but I play it really good. You know what I'm saying? If you listen to Harlem Dog Taylor, it's wild. I mean, he's just like, it's really wild. And it's not that he's. I'll put it like this. He wouldn't be Buddy Guy, okay?
But he
would
might
be
be
an element
Thelonious
of Buddy
Monk.
Guy. Do you know what I mean?
He might be Thelonious Monk, though.
Well, he might
Think
be.
Monk's Ugly Beauty.
Yeah. I guess you could say that. You could say that. I mean, I'm thinking about it more in guitar terms, but like you can't get to the rest of the blues without having the element of his sound in there, and the vivacity, the energy, you know, and also that sense of. Not just recklessness, but joy that he's bringing to the.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about smooth jazz, and that I think about the. I know I'm not going to go into it.
No, it's cool.
But
you know, we're here. We're in the neighborhood.
here.
Might as well knock on the door. You know, I'm writing another poem about my hatred for smooth jazz.
It ain't jazz if it's smooth. I mean, maybe that's the thing with the blues too, right?
Yeah,
that
I mean,
you take the sorrow and make it swing. You don't disappear the sorrow.
Right.
You don't disappear the ugly.
It's anesthetizing.
That's the Zoloft.
Yeah, Zoloft. It's lobotomization.
That's it.
Of the music, which I highly resent. You know, I was in an Uber, and the guy had on smooth jazz. I was like, I'm really like, I would rather, any other type of music I would rather listen to.
Did you give him 1 star?
I did, no, I was trying to be chill. I just put in my,
Right.
just put in my headphones and whatnot, but it made me, I was like, I have to write this. I mean, I don't know. It's a little, part of it's like, that's a little immature, Jess. You should not be writing.
That you hated it?
That you should be writing a curse or a healing spell, a spell to heal from smooth jazz. But that's an incantation. You need one to.
I love that. I'm writing curses these days.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna. I'm gonna just follow my gut and do it because.
Yeah.
So there's that recklessness, I guess, right?
Well, it's also, I mean, to not turn away from. I mean, so many lines in the Burt Williams, a George Walker poem. I was thinking that face rising through blackface, right? Or they claim nobody struggling not to fade away, right? All those negatives and what that turns up for us.
Right.
And so just how you, in this work, I mean, it was a revelation to me how you talked about both Leadbelly and Olio, but that sense of that as much as you are focused, ambitious, here's how I'm gonna stick to this poem, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna hit it hard. You also follow the instinct and the gut, the something that sort of pushes you out of nowhere and says, maybe I ought to go in this direction. And that to me, that's the unknown, that's the New Orleans, that's, even though you're from Detroit, but I forgive you. But that's the something else that just kind of comes in the poem, in the poetry in general. And it's also the haunting.
Well, I was thinking about, Burt Williams and George Walker. They are like the 12th finger that we want to forget, that nobody wants to. Right. It's painful remembering a black man in blackface doing that. But at the same time, it's funny when I look back at how people understood his performance at the time. And there was more than one. When he performed, there was more than one joke going on. Like there was an intelligence that was being displayed. There was like this sly wink. And I don't want to overplay it, but it was there, and it was a wink to his black audience, and a certain level of the white audience probably got it as well, you know.
But others did not at all.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was W.C. Fields is the one that said they're the only act that made him laugh and to cry, you know. So I mean, but the ability to be in that forum and to have that happen
And to survive.
and to survive it, right?
Right.
I mean, if I remember correctly, he died on stage.
Whew.
Burt Williams.
Really?
I might be misremembering this, but he died right after he performed or something like that. But you know, he was very interesting, you know, conundrum. You know, that we're still we're still dealing with those issues today. You know, what about representation?
Well, and how you perform blackness, that you're called on to
Right.
perform, and at the same time you're penalized for performing it in certain ways.
Yeah,
And you're expected to perform it.
Yeah, you know, and I think that's the line that we're treading. That we're, you know, how do we enter into these artistic endeavors and maintain our integrity? You know,
Yeah.
that's really the line. You know,
Right.
'Cause,
And
you
how
know-
do we find our integrity? I mean, like, because integrity is not one thing all the time.
Yeah, I hear that.
I mean, I could just be making that up, too.
No,
you know?
I mean, it can be, you know, you might do, there's certain things one would do under X circumstances that you
That's
wouldn't do under
right.
Y circumstances, you know?
That's right.
So, you know, you're reading the room all the time and things like that, you know, so, yeah, I hear that. Like playing a harmonica in this situation, for me, it's like a little bit of a risk. Because, you know, should I put this? The academic expectation is that one is strictly about the page and strictly about, you know, and really, to take it a little further, to be as dry on the page as possible.
Right.
No,
It's true.
no, it's really,
It's
that's
as,
real.
It's as
That's
though
very real.
you don't bring all the other stuff
Right.
in the room with
Yeah,
you.
you don't want none of that funk up in the house. You
That's
know what I'm
right.
saying? So
That's the idea of discipline,
Right,
right? You
right.
stay in your lane.
right. But I think
Yeah.
that, you know, I'm at the point where I'm like, you know, how many more years do I have on the planet? And really, you know, I think I do that as
How
a way
many
to-
more years do any of us have,
That's
given
real,
what's
that's
going
real.
on?
But like, you know, I want to use it as a space preparer, a space cleanser, a introduction to my vernacular, so to speak, and weave it into the understanding of where I'm coming from. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Why, yes. I mean, I really do love the description of what Burt Williams is doing and how he's having multiple conversations at one moment in the
Yeah.
performance, right? And that idea that one line or one way of saying thing can actually be a pivot point. It can mean one
Yeah.
thing over here and something else over here,
Right.
even though it's in the same language, so to speak.
Right.
And that there's even, for me, like I'm really interested in the ways that the contrapuntal for you is a conceptual space,
Right.
right? And I think it's hyper related to the persona poems you do, which are deeply moving to me. And it's not about me, but
No.
but deeply moving because of the capacity of the imagination to enter other possible perspectives.
Yeah, I find it writing a persona is. I learned a lot about that from Patricia Smith, who, and Tim Siebels, two poets who just and I remember reading back in the day, who does
Yeah.
nothing, almost nothing but persona poems. I think every one of her
and
books
painful.
is strictly, and they're very, very, very difficult
That's right.
personas to inhabit.
That's right.
You know, I mean, channeling that kind of energy, I can't
It's
imagine.
killing.
It
Yeah.
had to be very difficult in a certain kind of way, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, persona. The great thing, I mean, when you speak in the first person, the thing I love about it is it's an attempt to bring the reader directly into the experience, and it's very, you know, it's just it's a very small. It doesn't seem like it should work, but for some reason it does. It makes the experience of the poem that much closer. And also, I think for me, you know, it means trying to imagine myself under those circumstances of the persona.
Well, I feel like that's the most exciting part of it for me. And that when you talk about breath for breath on the page,
Right.
power next to the dispossessed,
Yes.
as it were, right? That they occupy the same language,
Yeah.
and yet to sort of be able to construct, to imagine the sentence in which both voices, both possible positions are operating simultaneously is quite a feat, right? Even as they're operating in opposition. And I almost think that's that capacity that poetry may make available to us might save our asses.
You know,
Even though poems don't stop bullets.
that's you know, I read
Right?
that. I was talking to somebody the other day. Haki Madhubuti has a line pretty much like that. He said, "I ain't seen no stanzas stop a tank."
Well,
And
Baraka,
yeah,
no poem,
Right.
can't stop a bullet.
right. But we need them nevertheless because they're a record. They're a record of our consciousness. They're a record of our objection. They're a record of our understanding. You know, and they signal both to, well, probably primarily to ourselves as we're working out how to say these things, but also to the world. I say as an American citizen.
Right.
This
And it's
is-
to imagine another possibility. That there are
Yes.
many possible reactions,
Yeah.
many possible stances, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's why they come for the poets first. They come for the
that's true.
artists first. Don't
true.
be able to say it this way. Don't be able to think it this other way,
Right.
because it becomes a problem.
It's dangerous. Yes.
It is dangerous.
So
Yeah.
I'll be calling you when I need that bail money.
I got the list of bail funders. You know I'm Poe, though, right?
Hey, I'll put up the GoFundMe. You can
Thank you.
spread the word. We're laughing, but
But
it's real.
sort of.
It's real.
No, like I peep out. Who are the people who would point me out on the Underground Railroad, right? Who are the people who will hide me, and who are the folks who would give me up? I'm peeping that all the time
I
and
hear
keeping
that.
lists.
I hear that.
You
Got to.
know, that too.
Got to. Yeah.
So what? I'm going to ask about the book you were first published in, and I'm still like gnawing on the fact that 2 of 30 men
Yeah. Are still alive. Yeah.
are still alive.
Are gone. Well, it's in
2 of the 30 are gone. So
Yeah.
was an anthology.
Yeah, So Far as Young Black Men on Love and Violence was published in 1996.
Right.
And there were 30 people published in it,
Right.
30 men. 2 of them have left us. And I think what we were marking on is that I think that's a pretty extraordinary survival level for black men in America to live now. I just turned 60. And
So 30 years.
30 years, yeah. And
Yeah.
you know, that was the first time I'd been published nationally.
Wow.
So for me, it's a real celebration. Now I'm trying to gather everybody back together for a reunion, so to speak, a reunion anthology,
Right.
and add some other brothers, along the way. But I think that for me, I would say that poetry has definitely added to my lifespan in multiple ways. It's allowed me a therapeutic space.
But it's not therapy, so
But
I
it's
don't want
not
to read your
therapy.
therapy poetry.
I still have a therapist, but so you're right. But it is a space of release, and it's a space of community. And I think that those things are things that all of these cats have kind of dug into, and it's probably lowered a lot of blood pressures.
Right.
Stabilized, people in various ways, and including income, and provided a space where a lot of people would not, you're trying to survive in this the beast, so to speak, and you find a way. For me, it was what I discovered, and I think so far this was one of the things that told me this, and what I told myself at the time was that when I took one step towards poetry, it took two steps towards me. And when I found that out, it was like, oh, maybe I should
Go here.
And what do I do with this 9-to-5 job, though? I don't know, homie. You have to figure that out.
Go to school.
That's exactly what happened. I went back to school eventually, and
Right.
But that was the sense that I got, and I like the harder I really try at this, then and also to try and write something for me, as Toni Morrison would say, write the book that you want to see that hasn't been read yet,
Right.
hasn't been written yet.
How have communities been a part of that realization for you?
Good question. Communities, like my first real poetry community, so to speak, would be the open mics I used to go to in Chicago. And then around 97, I joined Cave Canem. I was accepted into Cave Canem. I was applied as a fellow a year when they went from 25 to 50
Wow.
people in their summer internship. Just very briefly, Cave Canem is a fellowship of black poets that has been meeting since 1996. Every summer they get together and they choose there's about 50, I'll put it like this. There's 50 poets that gather, and now they gather outside of Pittsburgh, in Greensburg. Every poet that gathers in that summer can come for 3 summers, okay? So also they have workshop leaders that are more senior poets, and they can also teach for 3 summers. And what that means is that the number of poets grows, and the number of the people who are teaching don't stay the same, so that the aesthetics don't stay stagnant. They don't get stagnant. So that's been going on for 30 years. At this point, they have around over 500, 600 fellows that have matriculated through this process.
Right.
And I just, in the last, my process was I went from fellow to I was basically a helper, a TA, so to speak, to being on the board, to being board president. And I was president for 4 years, and it's still doing great. And that's a really very important part of my community development.
And it was, it's amazing. It was begun by Toy Derricotte. And Cornelius Eady.
Yes.
And that they sort of came together and recognized the experiences that they'd had at majority?
Majority was majority white.
Well, yeah, but
poetry.
I was trying to find a different way to say that.
Wish there were, but that's the reality. Yeah.
Workshops, and that they were. What is it to have to be called on to explain yourself
Right.
before you can get to talking about your work.
Exactly.
That's exhausting.
Yeah.
And so they said, what if we have a space where you come in and your work is the primary thing?
Right.
And so 30 years, and when I first met you,
Yeah.
when are you going to join Cavicana?
said,
You're going to apply to
that's the first things
Cavicana.
I
That
said,
is
when are you
the
going to
first
apply to
thing.
Cavicana?
I'm like, I don't even know you. Is it a car?
Right.
But it's been amazing. To me, it's also your commitment to that community.
Yeah, it's been very, very important to me. You know, I know it was a real lesson in that, you know, communities grow and they change in different kind of ways, and you know, Cavicana, you know, it's very hard. You know, I can't imagine Toy and Cornelius. You know, just, you know, they weren't really getting paid to come back over and over and do that.
That's hard work.
It's hard work, and it's emotionally difficult
That's
work
right.
also. You know, our organization went through many different challenges and growing pains and whatnot, and now it's in a much better position. But yeah, it's very. I think that, you know, here's the thing. I mean, the Cavicana actually served as a blueprint for several other organizations that were based on it. Kundaman is one, which is for Asian American poets. Canto Mundo is another one. And there's a few other ones that have been based on Cavicana. Because Cavicana really kind of, you know, let me say this. You know, Natasha Trethewey won his first book award. Tracy K. Smith won his first book award. Major Jackson won his first book award. Terrence Hayes was there when he used to be Toy's assistant. You know, who else? I mean,
then you have Black Took Collective.
Yeah, Black Took Collective.
Right, who comes through. Jericho Brown goes through.
Greg Pardlow. I could go on. I mean,
it's like the who's who of Black poets.
Yeah, it's been extremely. It's changed the face of American poetry. You know. So it's been. I feel very lucky to have been involved in it. And then I would also
still involved.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. And I would say also the slam community. I have to get. I was on the Green Mill Slam team, '99 and 2000, and for me, you know, I think I experienced slam. The way I perceive it, I feel like I was in slam almost at its height. You know, when it's not as active as it used to be, but it was just, in my mind, it was just before it got a little too cliche. But you know, that's my perception. Right. But it was a great experience, and there's still so many great poets that have come through. A lot of these poets like myself, I mean, I came through partially slam, and then I ended up in academia, and that's fascinating to me. Mark Smith, founder of slam, you know,
Patricia Smith.
Patricia Smith is the 5-time slam winner, national slam winner. You know, so many other people I could point to. Sam Sachs, I think he was.
Well, it's also something that those categories aren't as hard and fast as the disciplines don't hold.
That's true.
Right? And that it becomes, well, although it's not, it's the milieu, not the thing.
Yes.
But that idea that, you know, you stay in this prescribed category, you are disciplined, so that's how you make, think, and what you do, and that there's so much greater capacity for people. I mean, I was listening to someone 3 o'clock this morning on a clip of some hip-hop artist I'd never heard of before, and what this person was doing with language, I thought, whoa, wait, I want this on a whiteboard so that I can kind of go through and analyze that. And that kind of knowledge and facility with language, with rhyme, with meter, all those things, that cuts across the safe categories.
That's true. Yeah,
right?
You know, there's
it's really it's a whole nother. I mean, it's grounded in the beat, but it's just full of so much abundance.
Yeah.
Hip hop.
Nice.
Goes back to the music, though.
Goes back to the music.
Yeah. So it's interesting to see these things develop.
So what's next for you? And I'm wondering, okay, we have about 10 minutes. Will you take some questions from the audience, if the audience has questions?
Yes. Can you call on me, because I can't really see things.
I can, but I don't know all their names, so please state your name.
My name is Gautam Bakshi. Thank you for coming. How long have you played the harmonica?
Oh, on and off, probably 40 years, just mostly to myself. I used to go to the stand-in nights in Chicago because they had a great blues scene there. But yeah, mostly to myself. It's a fun instrument. They're not as cheap as they used to be. They really aren't. This one's $100.
Wow.
This one's 50, but I remember they were like $29.
You should tag it.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. But they're fun instruments, and they're very unique. Very unique. Yes.
I wanted to thank you so much for acknowledging where we are in the world. And both of you were saying, talking about how literature can't stop a tank. But that poem you read, beginning with war, those are thoughts that I've had so much, the nightmare of what war can do. And I think you expressed it beautifully. It is a poem, I think, that speaks to all of us and what we want to stop, and you did it, you really did it well. Thank you.
Thank you. I wish that poems could be weaponized to stop, like, freeze wars.
Well, it's interesting they're burned or removed, that books are burned and removed,
Yes.
even though they supposedly cannot stop. I mean, remember,
Right.
Baraka's removed.
Right.
In fact, not only is he removed as New Jersey Poet Laureate,
Right.
the position is decommissioned because
Right.
of a poem.
Right, exactly. They said
So-
no more state poet laureates for New Jersey.
No, forget
That's the
that.
end of that.
You in that poem. And I'm like, damn,
Because
they
we
say.
don't know what the next one is going to say either.
We don't, and we can't censor you
Right.
because we don't censor you.
Right.
However,
Right.
poetry makes nothing happen.
Yeah, that's true. But
Right.
apparently it does. Right?
Yeah.
Somebody else.
Randy.
I have like a process question regarding Leadbelly. I'm reading this remarkable book, and I'm just wondering if you could sort of speak to the transmogrification of taking something that's well researched and to breathe the music and the magic and the vivid poetic imagination back into it to make it something that goes beyond just vapid research and chronology. How do you make it dance again?
It's a good
It's
question.
a good question. I like the way you phrase that.
He's a poet.
Oh, there you go. Well, one, it helps to be completely obsessed with your subject matter, and maybe a little mad about the way it's been treated or neglected, and to be very intrigued by the various mysteries of the people's lives, and to want to understand how it connects to you. Because really that's what Leadbelly is. Leadbelly, was about my search for the roots of blues. But it was also about my search for my own internal riddles, as in how to wrestle with being a black artist, but also with, dealing with not that I'm a violent person, I ain't been to prison, blah, 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 and hurt people, but destructive urges and channeling them into one's art. That was really Leadbelly's turn in the book, is when he decides that, no, this ain't working, this pathway is not working, I'm gonna turn my life around, whatever it takes, I'm gonna put all my energy into this guitar. And subconsciously, that is what I was actually trying to do, literally at the time of writing the book. So researching him was subconsciously, that's what it was. And I think that for me, what that means is, or what I would say for anybody else approaching that kind of, the idea of approaching history and trying to breathe into it, understanding, thoroughly researching the people, trying to get the facts as straight as you possibly can, and trying to empathize with everybody in the story, even the people that are against, on whatever side that they're in. Everybody has a story. Nobody sees themselves as a villain. They see themselves as having objectives that they want to achieve for these various reasons. And I think that those are the keys, and just don't give up. Don't give up. First person helps too, I have to say.
Not for everybody.
Not for everybody, but it works for me. So, but but in Olio, I was trying to do. I was gonna stay in first person all the time. There were some things I just could not do.
Well, you were also working differently in terms of just, I mean, can you talk about your residency at the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council and how you began to write in that space, in the studio space?
I had a studio space in Lower Manhattan, as you said, Council, and really, what I was really trying to do there was to create these sculptures out of particularly like the one that I just read here, and I actually did create these big, like 6 foot tall kinds of sculptures while I was there. I think also while I was there, I was trying to flesh out some of the other poems and figure out which way they were going, which I did. I had no real roadmap for the book until it was 2/3 done. I had no idea. I just was writing the poems and thinking they'd be useful in some kind of way. And LMCC was good for that kind of contemplation. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm thinking about the poems coming out of the book, right?
Yes.
And I loved how yesterday Amy described the poems taking up the three-dimensional space, and then you show us the different ways that the paper works, but that's also conceiving of the different ways one might move in reading. That isn't just the kind of standardized right to left, top to bottom. That in fact, as a field, that it's possible to reconfigure which points in the poem, which lines led to where, and that you had to have space to kind of at least that's what I saw. Yeah.
That's what was happening, you know. That and you know, and probably a bottle of Courvoisier.
I probably have more than one bottle, but
that's definitely what was going on. And I was trying to find, you know, I think the other thing is, like when you say make it dance, I think that for me, I'm trying to find a way to keep it interesting for me, and keep it, you know, keep myself, like, you know, it goes back to the idea of, you know, writing and finding a surprise in the middle of the poem.
right.
And that surprise, when you are feeling that surprise, that's your you're discovering is like you're writing about somebody's life who's going through their life at their pace, and they're in the act of discovery as they're living. But you already know where they're going to end up. So you had to, so you're finding surprise in the middle of the poem is akin to them finding their own surprises in the middle of their self-examination. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that surprise can come in many different ways. It can be rhetorical, it can be structural. You know, it can be or it can happen in the body of the entire manuscript. Like with this book, I was writing these long letters, and I didn't know who the hell. I didn't know. At first, I was like, I started them, but I was like, well, who's writing these letters, and why are they writing them? And I had to figure them out.
I'm convinced this is your sci-fi brain, where you're really, y'all laugh, but it's true, that the sort of building of a world, actually.
It was.
And the details.
It is imagining a world because of trying to get the details but it's also, very much attached, trying to be attached to the historical facts, because I know. That's why, I knew when I wrote Leadbelly that if people would think I was besmirching the name of John Lomax if I didn't have the actual documents and quotations literally from him.
Right.
So, and that's why there's a bibliography in the back of the book. Same with this book. I was like, if I don't put the actual facts in here, people are not like, yeah, he made all that up. No, I didn't. You can look it up. And da 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 da.
Right.
And I think that's one thing I would definitely recommend. Is to have and a timeline, because most people don't know. Even if you're familiar with American history, you may not be familiar with a certain aspect of the history. And that's the way many of us are. It's just very hard to locate people and put them in context.
Yes. Of course, I can't say no. This is your process.
Well,
but. And I'm thinking, yes, that attention to detail, the structure, that becomes the kind of skeleton. But that where the imagination comes in is that in the knowable, within the frame of the knowable elements, you have to be able to imagine what's possible.
yes.
And that's the sci-fi moment, right? That's the sci-fi moment. And that, I think, is a capacity for empathy.
Yes.
That actually is more than just about an accumulation of the facts.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's an openness, and that there are multiple things happening as you're writing this. That one, you're writing for your life. Some people are writing for kicks. You're writing for your life.
Yeah.
Right? And so it also means that there's that openness in you to say, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need here? And so yeah. Just
I hear
thinking
you.
about that.
I mean, that kind of urgency is critical. It's like you don't want to make no smooth jazz.
No, you don't. You do
I'm
not.
not trying to be Kenny G. All day.
Oh, you
know
weren't
what I'm
going to say a name.
Oh yeah, I'll say it.
No.
Look, I used to be a jazz format chief at a radio station when I was in college. And when Kenny G's records were coming out, I would put them on the radiator. Let the radiator
You just
play.
accidentally put them
No,
on? I know.
definitely
I
on
was giving you
purpose.
an out.
Definitely on purpose, not gonna. Not having it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jess.
Thank you, and thank y'all for
Let's
coming
give
out.
it a round. We're out. Come back tomorrow at Minnesota Street Projects. Tyehimba Jess and Tongo Eisen Martin will read. In the atrium, it's free. open to the public. Please join us. It will also be streamed.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.